Rich, Dizzy Homestead. How the heck are you? I need to just watch over just a little bit. I thought I had it right clean to the point of turning it on. Alrighty, how the heck are you? Yeah, it's getting late in the week and I haven't been able to have time to get a video up. Well, actually, I did one Tuesday and then decided to take it down, not put it up. Because I kept trying to, voice some my opinion without getting angry about what's going on with these kids in the streets rioting, tearing stuff up, and all that kind of stuff. And so I've learned something. I can't talk about that without getting angry. And so, since these children are hardly worth the time of getting your feathers all ruffled over, the only thing I can say is those kids needed a good butt whooping as a kid. And maybe they'd turned out to be a little better young adults. And my only prayer for them is that the rest of their brain finally connects by the time they're about 30 and they kind of straighten up. That's about all I can say. It's sad. And got to make your parents proud, I guess. The only thing I will say, and I don't mind if I get a little angry over this, is why I saw three young black males drag a white senior citizen out of a car and beat and kick him because of the way he voted. Gee, folks. You don't win a lot of sympathy for your causes doing stuff like that. Matter of fact, most folks I've talked to down here who saw that video wishes they'd been there, because it would have turned out wholly different. So, that being said, and we don't want to turn into a nation that does that kind of stuff. Really, I mean, these people need to think, is that the way we want our elections to go? Do we want people beating on us because we voted for somebody they didn't like? Is that what America's become? Heaven help us. So I pray for these young people, and it's not good. But, it is what it is. And I guess now we know. If they elect somebody that the rest of us don't like, hey, let's go, I would offer a piece of advice. They're in their urban areas, burning stuff down, trashing businesses. And probably those business owners, since they live in urban areas, are most probably Democrats and voted for Hillary Clinton. Therefore, they're really trashing their own supporters' place as a business. So if we have to do something like that, let us go to the cities. Okay, let's show them we have more sense than to trash our own communities. We'll go to the cities and trash. How ridiculous. How ridiculous and how sad. Wow. I don't know what to say. They're all that they've shown me is that they are not tolerant of other people's thoughts and opinions and actions. And they are absolutely not so love diversity and inclusion and all this nonsense they spew out of their mouths, but honestly, it is not backed up in their actions. They allow diversity as long as that diversity agrees with them. But tolerance is the same way. They'll tolerate you as long as you agree with them. Typical socialist. Seriously. You don't have to look any farther than Cuba. You can get along just fine in Cuba if you agree with the government. You speak as the government says you can speak, and you live where the government says you can live, and you do what the government says you can do. Yeah, they get along great with you. It's when you step out of line, you're going to have a problem. So, much like the America these children want. Wow. Heaven help us. That's as nice as I can get with it, because if I go any further, I'm going to blow a gasket at them. Really sad. Anyway, so on to other things that's going on around here. I did a video that I probably will not put up a few days back on how to put away your polywire netting, how to roll it out and clean it up and get it ready for storage. And mainly because it was cold that day, folks. I mean, it was cold. It was cold all day long. And so I'm running around. I've got on thermal underwear. I had on two sweatshirts, a pair of sweatpants, and then a pair of fatigue pants over that. Then it was toward the end of the day, and because of the temperatures and so forth, man, I was hurting. Walking and so forth was killing me. So I I took off my work boots and I put on a pair of tennis shoes because I knew I was going to be working in the barn and the pasture after that. So I get out there and do this video. And when it was over, I played it back and went, oh my gosh. I looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that was, crippled. And it was like, I'm not putting that up. It's good information, but sorry. Pretty embarrassing. I mean, I'm dressed fairly warm today because it was kind of cool down here this morning, although it's this afternoon starting to warm up. I'm going to have to start shedding layers. Still no rain. We got a little bit yesterday for about 5 minutes, and that was it. And it wasn't much of a rain. It barely put anything in the rain gauge. Yeah, we're dry. I just praise God that He put in the back of my head when I was thinking about planting a fall crop, and don't do it. Don't. And I'm glad I didn't, because I would have had no way to irrigate it, and it would all been dead by now. So waste of money. Let's see. I had stopped out at Danny's channel out at Deep South Homestead, and he had a real good porch time he did this week. Basically telling preppers, keep prepping. Homesteaders, keep homesteading. Keep moving forward. And would-be homesteaders, you need to get busy. Don't put all your eggs in Donald Trump's basket, okay? He's just a man. And if he does what he says he's going to do, that's wonderful. But if he doesn't, it's not going to be overly surprising, okay? Continue to do what you're going to do. We don't know what the world's going to be like. We really don't. So keep doing what you need to do. Just keep preparing. Wanted to give you a little information that I picked up on some of the ag business stuff. The new herbicides I'm learning more about them as they're beginning to talk about their tank mixes and so forth. And the EPA regulations that are coming out on how this stuff has to be handled by the workers and so forth. And it's not good, folks. It's not good at all. Where before, farm workers had to be certified every 5 years for handling herbicides and insecticides. That's been cut down now because of this new herbicide to every year. And you have to be, even if you're the son of the farmer that owns the farm, you have to be 18 or over to be anywhere around the stuff. You have to wear a hazmat suit, respirator, the whole shooting match, to be within 100 foot of this spray equipment once it's loaded with this herbicide. Yeah. And then there's other precautions, such as once you spray your field, you have to put signage up around the field saying that humans are not to enter the area till further notice. And I've heard it's 30 to 45 days. I'm not really sure. That seems like a little long to me, but I'll check on that and get back with you. But that's what I'm hearing now. It's 30 to 45 days. Nobody can go back into that field because it's extremely toxic to humans. But that's the stuff I want my food grown in. You betcha. Yeah. So, and then for people that live close to farms that are doing major crop farming, be advised There is a problem with these new herbicides of drift. They tell the farmer, you don't spray this stuff if there's a breeze because it's going to drift. And apparently it drifts a ways. Okay. So, and what does that mean to you is if you live in a subdivision right next to a crop farmer, you can have a nice, pretty garden in your backyard and spend a small fortune on getting a beautiful Bermuda grass lawn and have little flowers planted around your house. And that old boy gets out there and sprays during a breeze and the drift heads your way. All right. And your little children out playing in the yard. Isn't that a nice thought? Okay. You're going to get up within about 48 hours and find out your grass is dead, your garden's gone, your flowers have wilted. And hopefully, your children weren't outside because the stuff is toxic to humans. So, if you live around a farmer that's using that stuff, you might want to go over and have a talk with them and let them know, if you spray this stuff and it drifts onto my property, I am going to sue you till I'm tired. And you won't be farming no more. Because the manufacturers have explicit warnings about spraying if there's any kind of a breeze. So you're not going to blame the manufacturer. They've covered their tushes. It's going to be between you and the farmer. So you might want to chat with your farmer and let them know, be careful with that stuff. And I'm serious. There won't be a second warning. That stuff gets on my property, you're sued. That's simple. I'll have analysts, have samples pulled, get analysis done, and at that point, you're done. Be serious with them. Don't pull no punches. At least it'll keep it in their mind. I want to make sure I don't have any drift around these people's property. It can be a problem. Like I said, they want you to label the field saying humans aren't allowed back in here. It's toxic, poisonous. Yeah. Wouldn't you like that in your backyard while your kids are out playing, huh? Yeah. So if you live around these things, keep it in mind, pay attention. Talk with the farmer. Another thing, you're probably going to see a bit of an increase next year in corn products that you buy in a store. Canned corn, just about everything has corn syrup in it, and so forth, because here's what's went on. 2 years ago, farmers got $7 a bushel for corn, $7 a bushel. That has dropped to $3 a bushel, okay? But the cost of seed, fertilizers, all that stuff, fertilizer's dropping now because I'll explain that a little further down the road here. But all these costs are going up. So they finally looked at, hey, we've had 2 seasons here where we haven't even broke even with corn. We're not planting corn this year. A lot of farmers are not going to plant corn this year. That's according to the seed orders being placed. They're backing away from the corn, which is going to put that old supply and demand. If the demand is here and the supply is here, the price goes up. There you go. At the grocery store. And that's probably what you're going to be looking at going into next year. If you're still eating in grocery stores. And if you are, you really need to wake up. Because this stuff that they're utilizing, secondary reason. Farmers, to try to cut the cost back, are cutting back on fertilizers. That's a controllable expense. Now, even to the point that phosphorus has had such a poor order season for the last couple of years because farmers have been cutting back, it's causing a loss of that industry in the U.S. We'll be importing phosphorus pretty soon because these businesses are closing up. Another cutback they're making is in equipment and tractors and so forth. Latest survey on the thing says that most of the mega farms have pushed back any equipment purchases. to 2019 or later. Equipment dealers are sitting with huge inventories, no buyers. The manufacturers are looking at, layoffs are in the future. And of course, as these guys start shutting down, then part suppliers, paint manufacturers, it has a ripple effect all out through the economy. So that's coming into play. And what else? Let's see. We've covered the drift. We've covered the fertilizer and the lack of equipment. They are really trying to hone down their pricing because seed prices, once again, on the rise. So most of your food that you're going to be buying in the store, you see those little labels that says, oh, it has this many vitamins and this many vitamins and this many vitamins. First thing you have to understand, that's put out by the USDA and was probably off of samples taken in the 80s and 90s. They haven't been doing any recent. I've noticed that. Not really keeping on top of what the quality of your food is. Other researchers are, and they say that the quality of your food has dropped considerably in nutritional value. That coupled with what's going to go on this year with the drastic cuts in the use of fertilizers. Your food, going to be kind of have all the nutritional value of day old bubble gum. Seriously. Not a lot of nutritional value in there, which is going to cause you health issues. Because you're already operating with glyphosate and so forth in your system that's screwed up your gut bacteria that processes nutrients, and you're going to be getting even more deficient food to eat. And the toxins, folks, this stuff is very toxic. Very toxic. And I looked at one of Syngenta's programs where they're talking about the weed control, how to stop these resistant weeds. And they have a process they call burn down, something like that, to where you go in and you disc your field, and then you come back with their latest and greatest herbicide, and you saturate that field. Saturate it. Heavy spray. Soak it. So that you kill everything so nothing pops back up on you and it becomes herbicide resistant. And then they say after that, you go ahead and put your crop down and then you do your post-emergent. This time you don't have to saturate as much. And then through the growing cycle, you continue to hit it so that no weeds appear. Yeah, so you're really getting dosed up there, folks. Your food is going to be grown in some of the worst toxins known to mankind. And of course, the plant doesn't absorb any of it, right? Yeah. They're going to keep pushing this stuff till we glow in the dark. Get out of the stores. Okay. You need to get out of the stores. And it's something that's going to be pretty serious here directly. The food that's coming at you next year is going to be extremely bad for your health. So when you get into all that, but there's bright sides to this, you got to look at the bright side of things. And one of the bright sides is it's probably going to help the nation with its deficit problem as far as like Social Security and Medicare. Yeah. You ain't going to live long enough to collect it. Don't worry about it. You'll be dropping out at 50. Could be part of the plan. Keep in mind, folks, get the heck out of them stores. It has gotten so bad out there that ag businesses and ag consultants are training their staffs in the detection and the counseling of stress management for farmers. I guess some of their farmers are wigging out on them. I don't know. But how that they need to lower their stress levels. They're going bankrupt. How do you lower your stress level from that? And working their butts off to do it. How do you reduce that stress? It's bad, folks. And, and even this new stuff, they're saying, well, if you guys don't do it the way we say to, it's going to cause resistant weeds. And then we got to step it up another notch. There has been no human research done on this mixture. folks. None. None. The EPA has looked at it enough to know, man, when that stuff's laying on the field, you don't put a human being back in that field. It's toxic. Okay, well, what about eating the food when you're done, folks? What's that going to be like? Yeah, and we are the only country, still the only country in this big world of ours that's allowing them to do it. Boy, you feel like a guinea pig? Lab rat? Yeah, you're it. Tag. Be careful, folks. It's time to get out of stores. There's still some fall farmer markets out there and so forth. You need to go out and lay in some heavy stocks, start canning, start putting food back. Because next year, you don't want to be shopping in a grocery store. You don't want to be shopping in them now. The stuff we're eating now is poison. This next round that's coming at you, amazing what they're doing with it. Amazing. I mean, signs on the field, no humans allowed. And you're going to be eating the food coming out of the field. Yeah, that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, doesn't it? Yeah. Dangerous stuff, folks. So anyway, not any big smashing news, but the EPA is really leaning on these folks about this. As a matter of fact, one of the courses that they have to give to the workers is how to make sure not to get any on your street clothes, because it can be hazardous to your family, you going home with a little of it on your clothing. Kind of like asbestos, huh? Yeah, not good stuff. And if you ever have a farmer, if you've got a yard there and so forth, and there's a farmer parks his sprayer while he goes to lunch by your fence, understand that EPA regulations say that if that has herbicide in it, you are not allowed within 100 foot of it. And they're serious about that. 100 foot. Until that has been removed and that sprayer cleaned out. A person not in a hazmat suit is not to be any closer than 100 foot. You think the EPA knows stuff they're not telling us? I suspect it. Yeah, because I was certified as an asbestos worker, okay? And trust me, folks, some of these regulations are tougher than asbestos. You think a lot of farmers are going to be getting tagged by the EPA? You betcha. It'll be another income stream for the federal government, and it'll probably be all it takes for the farmers because they can't afford that kind of nonsense. Be advised. Just a little update on what's going on with your food as you get ready to trottle off to Kroger's or whatever. Thanks, Rich. That's what we needed to hear as we're headed off grocery shopping. Go to a farmer market instead. I'd rather eat like a rabbit and know that the food I'm eating is not contaminated with poison than to eat like a king and be subjecting my family to a poison that could very well end their life at an early age. Life expectancy of Americans is dropping. Ever asked yourself why? Obesity, diabetes, all these things are linked back to these herbicides. They're killing you, folks. Keep giving you your money. If they don't kill you with the stuff, they'll enslave you from the profits of it. Cut them off. Get out of there. Stand up. Tell them that's enough. God love you. You all have a wonderful day, and I hope you're having a wonderful week. But please, 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 pay attention. If you're living close to a farmer's field, it could be hazardous to your children. Please pay attention. Okay? You don't want your kids out there if they're spraying and it drifts into your yard. They don't know for sure what the ramifications of that can be. You don't want to be the family that finds out. Take care of your kids. Take care. And like I said, if you see you got a row crop farm next to you that they're going to be using those herbicides, you might want to talk to the farmer. And let them know you're going to have a problem if that stuff gets on my property. Says Rich, Jesse Homestead. love yous and appreciate yous, and I really, really, really want you to pay attention. This stuff is dangerous. Let's move away from it. Y'all have a great week. Talk to you later.